All right, so our second part of the Section 2 notes for Chapter 6 in Geometry are to talk about how to put our statements, our conditional statements, into a Venn diagram. So you can see what you need to write here. You might have to pause it for a second to get that put in. But essentially, my P for my statement goes in that small circle, and the Q is in the bigger circle. And then you flip it for the contrapositive, but this should be not Q, this should be not P, right? So I fill out a Venn diagram, one circle inside of a larger circle, right? And I use that to come up with conclusions, right? So when I come over here and we talk about what we talked about before, right? So we have the same statements. I have actually my original statement, if a runner, then an athlete, right? In the first Venn diagram here. So if a runner, then an athlete, I said that that was true. And then I had the contrapositive that said if not an athlete, then not a runner. So when I look at A through D here, all I'm going to say is, okay, Leroy is a runner, right? So I can look at either Venn diagram because it should be true in both. But if Leroy is a runner, you see his point here, that means that he must also be an athlete because runner falls inside of that athlete circle. It's completely enveloped by that athlete circle. So if my original statement was true, that if runner, then an athlete, then Leroy is definitely an athlete, right? Whereas Lucia is not an athlete, right? When I say not an athlete, let me switch colors here, and I'm talking about her. She's right there in that circle. If she's not an athlete, she's definitely not a runner because that fits in both, right? So not only is she not an athlete, but that falls entirely inside of that not a runner circle. So I know that she's not a runner. But when I say Linda is an athlete, so next color here, what color haven't I used? I haven't used a green yet, so I'll do that. So Linda, right? Linda is technically out, is just an athlete. So Linda could be a runner, right? But Linda could fall inside the runner circle, or she might be outside of the runner circle. All we know is that she's inside of the bigger athlete circle. So technically we have no conclusion. So you can write none, you can say NC for no conclusion, but there's no conclusion when you tell me that Linda's an athlete. She might be a runner, she might not, right? When I say Larry is not a runner, right? Larry is not a runner. All I know is he's in that bigger circle. He could actually not be an athlete, but that doesn't mean that he isn't, right? So if I say that Larry is not a runner, he's just somewhere inside of that bigger circle, and he may or may not be an athlete. So this is another no conclusion, right? So say none, depending on what the question's asking, no conclusion, and C, right? Not really that tough to do. So there's a whole worksheet to go with this, that just practicing when I give you a piece of information based on the conditional statement itself and the contrapositive, would you be able to make a conclusion or not? So use that. You should be good.